Okay, so Ford is making this huge, audacious new play to completely redefine the electric vehicle market. And it's a strategy so bold, they're actually comparing it to one of the biggest moments in their own incredible history. You see, Ford's CEO, Jim Farley, he's not just announcing some new car. He is framing this as a massive, industry-shaking pivot, a moment just like the original Model T. He's basically signaling a fundamental shift, giving a direct nod to the very car that put the entire world on wheels in the first place. And this is the number that makes everyone sit up and pay attention. $30,000. That's the target price for their new midsize electric pickup. In today's EV market, that's not just competitive. It's revolutionary. It's a direct challenge to this whole idea that electric vehicles have to be expensive. All right, so let's really dig into the details of what this ambitious plan actually looks like. It's really the combination of all these things that makes this such a big deal. This isn't just another cheap EV, it's an affordable electric pickup truck, and that's the absolute heart of the American auto market. Plus, with their EV chief, Doug Field, leading the way, they have a rock-solid price target and a launch date that's really just a few years out. But you have to ask, right? Why now? Why make such a dramatic, all-in move at this exact moment? Well, the answer isn't just about innovating for the sake of it. The answer lies in this massive competitive threat that Ford sees coming right at them. Ford is basically sounding the alarm bell, and it's about a very specific threat: Chinese rivals who are already becoming masters at building affordable EVs. For Ford, this isn't some problem for the future. It's a clear and present danger, and they know they have to act, like yesterday. And if you look at this from Wall Street's perspective, this is about way more than just market share. We're talking about survival here. There's this growing fear out there that Chinese manufacturers have already won the race for the mass market EV. This whole plan is Ford's high-stakes answer to that exact fear. So how on earth do you counter a threat that big? Well, in Ford's case, the answer involves borrowing a playbook, and it's coming directly from its biggest American rival. The person leading this whole charge is Doug Field, and you have to understand he is a veteran of Tesla. He was a key player behind the Model 3, and now he's bringing that same disruptive philosophy over to Ford. At the absolute heart of this strategy is a concept they call first principles thinking. So instead of just tweaking what you've already got, this approach forces engineers to go back to square one, to re-examine every single assumption about how you design, engineer, and build a car, right down to the most basic fundamental truths. Here is a perfect example of what that actually means. In the old system, right, an engineer would get in trouble for spending an extra $5 on brakes. But in this new, holistic system, the team realizes, hey, wait a minute, spending $5 more on better brakes might let us use a smaller, lighter, and $20 cheaper battery. It's all about total vehicle efficiency, not just one part. But this goes way beyond just design philosophy. I mean, they are looking at completely revolutionizing the very manufacturing process that Ford itself pioneered over 100 years ago. They're updating practices that are literally as old as the company itself. They're calling it the unboxed method. And yeah, it's similar to a process that's been honed at Tesla. So just forget the image of a single, long, sequential assembly line. Here, the vehicle is built in major chunks on parallel lines, all at the same time. The goal? A massive leap in speed and a huge reduction in complexity. So when you put all of this together, what does it all add up to for one of America's most iconic companies? Well, it's nothing less than a massive all-in bet on its own future. And let's be absolutely clear, this is so much more than just a new product launch. Ford is fighting for its relevance in the electric era. It's fighting for survival against new global competitors. Honestly, you could even say it's fighting for the future of American EV manufacturing itself. And you can bet the pressure is absolutely immense on the man leading this charge. Doug Field's resume, it reads like a history of ambitious, almost sci-fi transportation projects. He's been at the center of some of the most hyped and fantastical ventures of the last 2 decades. That either makes him the perfect person for this job, or it adds an unbelievable amount of pressure to actually deliver. Which, it all brings us to this one final, really provocative question. With a plan this ambitious, borrowing from rivals and reinventing its own legacy, is Ford actually charting a course to dominate the next century of mobility? Or is this going to be remembered as a final desperate gamble against a changing world?